Okay, guys, welcome back. As you know, when I do these show coverages, I'll do my wrap up and my thoughts at the end of the day. I like to showcase my other friends' opinions or just let you hear virtually, almost streaming style, what I hear in the room. I'll throw in a few questions and try to probe for things that are interesting to me. So hopefully you find that helpful. Really, sometimes you may have to listen to the song when I get in there for me to actually start doing some Q&A that you may find helpful. And today was very informative in lots of rooms, giving that value added stuff that I talked about in my preview video. One of the reasons you go to these shows is not just to listen to the sound of the system. It's never going to be at its pinnacle performance in these hotel rooms, but getting to know the people behind it, the technology. And I'll give you a couple examples today. Pure Audio Project. I'm familiar with the speaker, I'm familiar with the sound, and it's another open baffle that's among the best that you should consider if you like that sound, open baffles. But what was interesting today was hearing from the guy behind it, Ziev, and how he looks at music reproduction in general. These are the things that you want to see either resonate with you or not resonate with you. In most cases, these guys are very impressive and they will resonate with you, gives you more comfort, even though maybe even what you hear in the room at the time may not be the best you've ever heard, but you have the confidence that in your room with the right setup, right associated gear, and the time to set it up properly versus just one day, which most of these vendors have, this is kind of the people you want to support. Another one that really surprised me today was Yamaha. I almost skipped that room thinking, my subscribers probably aren't that interested. And when I went in there, the price tags were like, wow, this is almost the same as any other super high-end brand. And you think of Yamaha as being big box store, mid-fi, but some of the things they're doing in terms of technology with that Xylon material driver, and that instead of just putting baffling in there, in the stuffing in the cabinet to control resonances and the sound pressure in there, very innovative what they're doing differently. So if you didn't watch that, that's actually pretty innovative. The sound quality in a room like that and that speaker still didn't translate to mind-blowing, but the gear itself and the technology behind it is stuff that, man, if I put that in a great room, I would give it a lot more credence now than I did before, not knowing a lot of these things behind it. So that's what you want to do at these shows. Get to know some of the technology behind it. And if it's over your head, don't be afraid to ask them, can you explain that? What is isobaric bass? The Wilson Benesh guys, I made a point even after hours today to help get the sales rep to kind of explain that to you, why that could be advantageous, why it works for a cabinet design in a lot of respects better than other bass designs. And so and really, my friend Doug was really impressed with those Wilson Benesh tonight. We played Mother by Pink Floyd. He was blown away by it. And he actually plays that in his band, the track Mother. In fact, I think I have it. When I went to New Orleans, he was on stage playing Mother on his guitar and at a bar, and I filmed that. So again, this is the kind of feedback I like to give you guys in terms of which brands were super impressive on that metric. Now on the sound quality metric and the technology metric that just really resonated with me, the key takeaways that just keep popping up in my mind, obviously the Bach room, the people that are actually doing the demo and hearing is that room, that hotel room I thought would not be as good as my room. He's getting better crosstalk measurements than I get in my room, and the wow factor proximity effects are amazing. I mean, he's the one saying I'm getting great sound in my room. Everybody else is saying coming up with various excuses that sometimes are legitimate, but go into the theoretical applied physics Bach room, you're not going to hear any excuses, and it will be hard pressed for you to leave without being wowed. But I'm kind of partial to that because I'm a home dealer for that, but guys, try it, okay? But the other room that keeps popping in my head, blowing me away, two of them keep popping in my head. Obviously, the Estelon Extremes that I featured yesterday still have some of that wow factor, goosebumps, great. Obviously, the other cost no object speakers from Acora, MBL, I saw those today. They didn't disappoint. But really the one that I'm saying, if I had especially when I started in this hobby, and even most of the decades I've been in this hobby, what I would have been more than happy with, the Kabas stuff. And I told you guys this last year. I said Kabas is back in the US, and be on the lookout for this brand, because this is a brand I remember back in the past. I always liked their stuff. Not only cool looking, the spheres, but the performance, the coaxial driver technology. And last year they put the coaxial sphere, and then the equipment is in the base. Brilliant, just looks cool. Definitely be a contender if I was in the speaker market buying from scratch again. But this $2,000 and $3,000 system I featured today, wow. I mean, and we're talking about not $2,000 and $3,000 speakers. We're talking about everything from the DAC to the amp, preamp, everything included in a beautiful form factor. Sound, you were not sacrificing much at all. You could add a sub with a little more money. You could do some things, cool things with the stands. But guys, you're going to be hard pressed when you go listen to the Kabas Room. Say, well, why did I spend $300,000, $400,000, $500,000? Yeah, it's just killer. And so for people at that budget price point, I had a lot of cool things today. A little bit higher price with the Dutch and Dutch, which was very impressive, active speaker. And again, same thing, Kabas, DSP, all of these brands now, you're seeing more and more having DSP. Now, where did they get that? Who predicted this? Was it Fremer? I don't think so. Anyway, you're seeing more and more DSP being used, and gives them so much of an advantage, especially at show conditions, because they can't cure everything with DSP, but what they can cure is amazing. And they were doing A/B demos of, especially in the Kabas Room, of pre-done curves to help you, to kind of, for people that don't want to get into the weeds of setting it and maybe doing it wrong. Kabas even had that taken care of for you. Pre-done curves. If you're sitting up against the wall, they've got a curve to kind of help you out there. They've thought of everything. Kabas, to me, right now, best room at the show. It's going to be hard pressed to beat them, other than the Bach for total wow factor. Wow factor on budget and performance for Kabas, wow factor in general for the Bach, and then cost no object, beautiful speaker that even Doug, with his MBLs, which are as beautiful as they come, he started thinking, man, what would be my next thing at the 200,000+? This Estelon Extreme Mark II, that is hard to beat. Just really impressive for my first demo with that. So the other thing that was kind of impressive today was the cable A/B demo, and I give Kimber a ton of credit for doing that, because first of all, they were nice enough not to benchmark themselves against other cables. They were just benchmarking models within their own line. And so there's a level of ethics and just respect doing it on their own line that you got to give them credit for. Then the fact that they were doing that alone, most people don't do it. Now, Doug seemed to hear a lot more difference than I did where I was in the thing. Now, the reason being, my opinion in that is two things. One thing, cables could make the obvious difference, and that's what he's hearing. When the guy was switching it, he was picking up on that delta change. So you got one variable there that would attribute to what he was hearing. The other variable is that they still had to jimmy rig two different speakers playing when one cable was being used versus the other. And even though they were very close to each other, they're slightly off. And so when you switch and the sound starts coming from this one and this one, it's a little bit more easy to tell of a difference. And he was sitting off axis. I was right in the middle. And if you watch that video, I said, hey, should I put the camera in between the tweeter axis of both of those speakers? So when you listen to my recording, if you don't hear a big difference while the music's playing and they were switching A/B, then that's less likely because of the cable itself, and more likely off axis because of the different configuration of the speaker. So I want to be frank about the fact that it's not doesn't 100% prove the cables made all of the difference that Doug heard, but definitely kudos to Kimber for doing that. Kudos for them for doing on their own cables and not trying to cheap shot other cables. And that is a cable brand, again, like in acoustic, there's a few cable brands that have that, just my respect. They do high-end level of cable. Even if you say it doesn't make a tangible audible difference, that's the magnitude of what they charge, it's still something, a pride of ownership. There's a level of engineering and innovativeness and just adherence to good principles in building a cable that you can have pride of ownership of owning a Kimber, an acoustic, and a few others. So thumbs up to them for doing something nobody else would do, and I think they should get a lot of kudos for that. I think that's really the summary of today. I didn't hear any bad rooms. I did feature a lot of open baffles, and it wasn't even intentional. I just was passing rooms and open baffle after open baffle. Diptyque was another one that I saw today. I said the Pure Audio Project. I've got a lot more I got to see. So great meeting a lot of you guys today. We had a lot of fun. So don't be bashful. Say hi. And I'll be back here with more tomorrow. See you soon, guys.